Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Early Edge. We've got a great show and a great set of shows for you today. More on that later. Let's see how we did on the recap screen before we bring in the stars of the show. 3 and 4. We'll say Ben, our producer, otherwise known as Ben Wittenstein, is staying real hot, but this is not where we want to be. We had a slightly winning record yesterday, slightly losing record today. I will point out, Mikey B went 1 for 2, but he also hit the plus 562 parlay that he gave out for Eric David's birthday. That came in, it ended up coming in pretty easily. So you love to watch the show live and pick up some of these bets. I got a special message from Eric today. He and many others made that bet. So maybe you won some money yesterday, maybe you didn't. We got to do better on our official plays, though, than 3 and 4, and we're going to do it with the stars of the show. Let's bring them in right now. We're all over the board here. We got soccer with Champions League with Buckets. We got NBA with Mikey B. And we got AMags. I'm here in D.C. He's wearing a Washington Nationals hat. AMags, explain.
Yeah, the Nats. I'm going to have a pick on one of the young, exciting players for the Nats today. And I wore this just for you, actually, Sia, because I knew that you were down there.
Fair enough. I'll take it. Buckets, Champions League. I know we got a couple of games today. I assume one of your picks is a Champions League pick, or maybe you got a couple picks. Yeah, you do have a couple of picks. And how did yesterday go in Champions League?
Yesterday went fine, is how we're going to phrase it. If you liked goals, then you loved the Champions League yesterday. Both Martin and I were on CBS Network. Both of us gave out 2 plays. Both of us went 1-1, which has kind of been the theme for me lately. So looking to do better than that, and I'm hoping to do that with some plus odds plays later in the show.
Mikey B, we spoke before the show. Eric David sent me a personal message thanking you for gracing him with a huge parlay on his birthday, which of course he took and won a lot of money on. How's the NBA looking today? It's kind of nice to you keep hitting those parlays, whether they're Pampers parlays or stated differently. You keep hitting those.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure now. These are not supposed to hit this often. I guess I've been on a bit of a parlay heater, so I'm not going to provide one today. As my dad used to say, you don't want to overstay your welcome. I don't want to push it here with these parlays. But next time I see one that I like, I'll bring it to the show.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's going to be no shortage of bets today. We have this show at 10 o'clock. We have our live chat at 10:30, which is usually just me and Rick Gaiman. And this is, of course, for the RBC Heritage, probably a little Corrales Punta Cana. I do want to mention it's very possible that Mike McClure is going to jump into that show, not just the chat, but he's going to jump into that show, which is kind of key since he's kind of the game theory ownership guy, among other things with his analysis. We might be 3 wide at that 10:30 show, and that's going to be really important, even for the casual golf fan. You might want to jump in there, get a couple of bets under your belt. We'll be talking DFS as well. But more importantly, AMags, before we get to our first pick, and you're going to start us off with picks, but we have to mention, for those that missed my tweet or you missed the notification on a SportsLine YouTube, we have a big show at 1 o'clock today. AMags, it's you. It's Sniper. It's Mike McClure. It's Zach Simony and Tom Casale. We have 4 MLB day games, and we're going to be taking you through maybe an hour, hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours. We'll see how it goes. We're going to be live betting all 4 of those games. AMags, you got to be excited. I'm just going to be a host and a bystander. I'm excited to have my phone and my iPad out just making some of these bets.
Yeah, I'm stoked for this. This is the first time that I've been a part of something like this. I'm not sure if it's the first time we've ever done it, but certainly for me, the first time. And what I was actually looking at was some hit run RBI plays that maybe we bet right after the guy's first at bat. So we think this guy's in a good position, but first at bat maybe just doesn't go his way. We get a good price, and then we can watch, the next couple of at bats. I think that'd be a good way to do it for us today. So that's for me. I know the other guys will have their own picks. It'll be a lot of fun.
Ian Lights Out says, dope. I'll be tuned in. Liddy says, I'll be there. See ya. There's going to be so many different angles. Like, AMags, that's one of probably like 15 or 20 angles that people will be. We've got 5 of you that are going to be on the show in terms of what they're thinking about, in terms of what they're looking for their live bet. So that's just going to be amazing. It's honestly, AMags, to me, and I think to so many other people, it's like getting inside the mind of AMags when he approaches a game. Mike McClure, Sniper, you name it, Tom Casale, Zach Simony. I think that sort of processing in terms of how to make a bet is the most important thing here. Go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. You're 100% right. That'll be good to kind of get a look inside the mind. But also, too, I saw somebody mention it. Spencer Strider, that very first game, 107, Spencer Strider makes his debut. So I think that in and of itself would be a reason to tune in.
We will kick off the show with a few, and I'm just going to ask everybody. It's going to be very kind of a freewheeling show, not a ton of structure, which is good in this context. I'm going to be asking for NFRIs and YR. Well, I'm messing that up. Yes, run first inning, no run first inning, NRFI and YRFI. Like, we're going to have maybe some first fives before some of these games even go. So like between 1 and 105, we'll probably throw some initial bets out there for people to consider. Then we'll get into the live portion. All right, enough of that. Hopefully you all can join us. It'll be great. AMags, start us out with 2 picks for MLB.
Yeah, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this first one because it's up on the website. You could have already got it on the SportsLine website, but it's Chris Bubic over 5.5 strikeouts here in Yankee Stadium tonight. Look, the 7:05 game, final game of the series, the Royals need it. And Bubic really on the mound. I like him, especially what he's done this year, but the overall body of work, even from last year, the 30 innings last year, the almost 15% swinging strike rate this year, that number is right in line with it again. He's actually, when you look at his numbers, he's getting deeper into the games, which I thought might take a little bit longer after having that short stint last year, but they are ready to go with this guy. He is full go, 92 plus pitches in each of his 3 starts. I really like the swinging strike numbers, the strikeout numbers. He's using multiple pitches to get a bunch of strikeouts here. So I think tonight, this Yankees team, you can look at the overall numbers and say, hey, they've been really good against lefties. But I do think when you take out those first couple of Nestor Cortez, Bailey Falter appearances, they actually are one of the worst at, bottom 10 for OPS under 600. So I do think that the Yankees are going to have trouble with Bubic. And I also played the first 5 money line for the Royals. Also, really quick, over 1 home run for the Royals here tonight with the wind blowing out was minus 150. I think that was a pretty good price on DraftKings. And then secondly, with the hat here, we got my guy, James Wood, the young talent for the Nats. You guys know, I took this Nationals team early in the year to go over their 70.5 wins number. And I kind of look and, early in the season, it was tough. They were losing a bunch of games over and over, but then you just kind of put it away. You look back, you put it away, you look back. We talked about this, Sia. This is how futures kind of are. They've been, starting to get some wins here. And it's because of this kid, James Wood. He has been absolutely balling. And when you look at, some of his hitter profiles against lefties specifically, even through the minors, he's been good against lefties, sometimes even better to that side. And you have Bailey Falter. I already mentioned him. He got beat up by the Yankees. That fastball is something that I think that Wood is going to hone in on here tonight. I went back and watched his couple of at-bats from previous seasons when he faced Falter. It was last year. And he was still hitting the ball hard. The foul balls were hit hard. He just didn't come away with any hits. So I think tonight, I think it's earlier today, but regardless, he is going to get over the 1.5 hit run RBI. If you want to play the home run, I like that too. I think that, this is a guy for the 1.5 on the hit run RBI. You want to keep playing him if you can get it at this price, minus 125.
All right. James Wood, of course, star of the movie Diggstown, which I'm sure you have all seen. Yeah, we've got so many baseball questions in the chat. We'll try to get to a few of them during this show. But I will say there'll be, even though we've got 6 people on the live stream, I mean, 5 plus 1, I'm not really going to be contributing as much as the others, but I will say this, some of those questions during maybe parts of the downtime of the live show, we may get to. So I just want to point that out. I don't think we can answer all the questions. There's so many in here for you, AMags. We'll get to a couple here. We'll certainly get to a couple during the live show at 1:00. Buckets, before you give out your picks, there was a question, because I know it looks like you have like more of the prop market stuff on Madrid money line. I can't remember who asked, but any thoughts on that?
So yes, but I'm not going to, I want to talk about that for the next 60 minutes, but I know that I cannot do that. Real Madrid, so I'll keep it short. I don't hate it at all, but you got to remember that Real Madrid money line is different than Real Madrid to qualify. Real Madrid money line is minus 120. I think that is a good bet because, frankly, I do think they win the second leg. I like their team total as well. But Real Madrid to qualify is plus 500. So this being a second leg in a matchup, we got to remember the difference there. Long story short, I do like the money line, but I don't like them to qualify.
All right, let's get to a couple of soccer picks. I do want to mention, after Buckets gives out a soccer pick, I'm going to let you know about a couple of BetMGM promos, including an odds boost token that you can get for the Champions League games today. But Buckets, you got a couple of plays. What are they?
Well, the first play I was going to give out was Chris Bubic over 5.5 Ks at minus 128, but AMags beat me to that. So I guess I'll stay in my lane here and focus on Champions League. Let's talk more about that Real Madrid versus Arsenal game, because I am looking in both of these matchups at the player prop market, because frankly, football's been a bit weird right now. A lot of very bizarre results like we saw in the first leg of this matchup. So I want to focus on the big names to do the damn thing here. I am looking at Kylian Mbappe anytime goal scorer for Real Madrid, currently priced at plus 110. There's 100 reasons I like this bet, but one of the most important ones is that Mbappe just picked up a brutal red card in league play that might have him miss due to suspension the next 4 to 5 league games, which means he has to show his value now in Champions League. In a game where they are down 3 goals in aggregate scoring, you need the guy that you spent all this money and spent all this time getting to show up. So Mbappe, this is your time to prove that you were worth it for this Real Madrid team. He has had an incredible season so far. I'm not saying he hasn't done that, but you got to show up in the big games here. Second play, we go to Inter Milan taking on my beloved Bayern Munich. And frankly, as a Bayern Munich fan and supporter, I do not think that they will be able to get this done. They needed to do more at the Allianz Arena. They had to make something happen at home, and they missed their opportunity. Now they travel to Milan to play at San Siro, to play one of the best defensive units in the entirety of Europe. Inter Milan have conceded 3 goals in 11 Champions League games so far this season. So while I don't think Bayern Munich will win, and frankly, I don't even know if they'll score, I know that Harry Kane is going to be shooting because that is what Harry Kane does. I'm taking Harry Kane 2+ shots on target at plus 110. Plus odds for both of these wagers. Harry Kane is going to be launching the ball from any and everywhere he can. He has to make something happen, and they're going to have a hard time breaking down this Milan defense. So expect him to be shooting outside the box and shooting from every piece that he can.
All right, a couple of soccer plays for you and a odds boost token for you for Champions League. Check it out. BetMGM account holders can also receive a Champions League odds boost token. Make a wager made up entirely of UEFA Champions League bets and score extra winnings if your bet wins. Pretty easy stuff. BetMGM makes it really easy with the odds boost tokens. And we've got one for the NBA as well. BetMGM account holders will receive an NBA playoffs odds boost token. To use the odds boost token, add NBA playoff wagers to your bet slip and activate the token and score extra winnings if your bet hits. Only at BetMGM. Before we get to SportsLine Picks, AMags, it did look like you had something.
Well, I was just saying this in the chat real quick. Aaron Bailey asked, you have Spencer Strider coming back. I mentioned the under on the outs, 16.5. I think at best it should be 15.5. To get into that 6th inning today, he's going to need everything to go right. Even a few walks could kind of take him out of that. Also, last day of their series here, and then they have an off day tomorrow. The pen's been lightly used. So that's what I was going to throw in there for Aaron Bailey.
Yeah, I mean, it's his first start, right? I mean, he's had some minor league starts. Like the last thing they're going to do is, like, let's say he has one lengthy inning. That could get him maybe through 5 innings and that's it, right?
Yeah, even if it's like just a couple of batters he labors through and gets, 15 to 20 pitches between a few batters, like that would almost certainly cut his day short. You're going to need a lot to go right to get into that 6th inning. And you could look at the minor league start and say he went 5 1/3 in his last 2 tune-up starts in the minors, but this is a major league team he's going to face. It's not a team you're going to strike out 13 times. I think it's tough to get into that 6th inning. It should be 15.5, not 16.5, in my opinion. It'll be on the website soon.
All right. And that's obviously a game that's going to be going. That's one of our 4 1 o'clock games, right? So that's a game we're going to be talking about a good amount during the 1 o'clock live stream on this SportsLine YouTube channel. All right, let's talk about some more picks. We've got some SportsLine picks here. We've got the Red Sox Rays over 9, minus 105. That is from JLC, Jason LaConfora. Then we go to Larry Hartstein. He's got a play in the NBA tonight. Daniel Gafford over 4.5 rebounds at minus 135. I do like that one as well. And Ben, our producer, hit another one last night. It was a first quarter bet. We've got first quarter Ben heating up on the Miami Heat. +0.5 in the first quarter. Heat first quarter, +0.5 at minus 112. Of course, Ben hit the Warriors minus 1.5. They started out slow, and then they just stomped the Memphis Grizzlies in the first quarter at least, and that was an easy cover as it turns out. All right, we got to get to a matchup that I like tomorrow early morning at the RBC Heritage, and then, of course, we hope Mikey B stays hot. He's got 2 NBA picks for us. We're going to cover it all right after this message from our partners. All right, we're back on the early edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Mikey B, before I give out my pick, I know you have props today. Any takes on the games themselves? Not necessarily, I mean, whether you like a spread or not unofficially, or just, obviously that Bulls game, those are your Chicago Bulls playing the Heat. Any take on a side? What you got today besides the props?
Yeah, for the 2 games, I would lean towards the Bulls winning. I do think they beat the Heat again because they've been much better since the Zach LaVine trade, and they're at home where they had 8-2 over the last 10 games. We talked about that during the playoff preview show. And then on the other side, I would take the points with the Mavericks just because I don't trust a Kings team that's missing Malik Monk and has to go with, compromise. They have scoring issues outside of Levine and DeRozan. You take Monk out of that equation, it's a bit of an issue. So I would take the Mavericks and the points in the second game.
We're never going to know it, but I think Dallas was going to be really good if they were healthy. I'm just going to throw that out there. It's very easy to just pile on to this team because of who they traded and what they got back and all of that stuff. But I think this was going to be a very formidable team if all of those guys stayed healthy post-trade. And that, of course, includes Anthony Davis, missing so much time and then being back where Kyrie Irving is not back, among others. All right, let's get to my round one matchup. I've got Bud Cauley tomorrow, -125 over Nick Taylor. Pretty easy call for me. This is one I actually brought to the early wedge yesterday at 7. You can watch that show. Me, Jason Sobel, Eric Cohn. We gave out all our picks, all our outrights, first-round leaders, you name it. But I like Bud Cauley this tournament. He doesn't have a ton of experience here at Harbortown. He played here last year. He missed the cut. It was mostly due to short game issues. He's really been good since last October. Like, you look at all the metrics. You're talking about ball striking. You're talking about short game, putter, around the green, all that stuff. He's just been really good, really consistent. I can't say the same about Nick Taylor, who doesn't have great history here. He had a good early part of the season. He's tailed off lately. Even if he bounces back, I don't think he's the player right now that Bud Cauley is. He's crafty. He can win tournaments. We saw it a couple of years ago. He can certainly win tournaments. And I shouldn't say a couple of years ago, a couple times over the last couple of years. But I just don't think the game is there right now. And I think Bud Cauley's very much is. I think Bud Cauley's live to maybe potentially win this tournament or at least top 10 this tournament. So I'm going to take him in round one, -125 over Nick Taylor. This is like around 8 in the morning, 7:45. That's why I'm giving it out today. You got to get this matchup in today. All right, let's go back to the NBA. Mikey B, stay hot. You've got 2 props for us.
You're never going to believe this. They're both from the Bulls game.
No,
I know everyone is just as surprised as you are, Sia. But let's start out with Nikola Vucevic to record a double-double at -115. This season, he averaged 18.5 points and 10.1 rebounds per game. His 7th straight season in which he averaged a double-double. At home this season, he averaged 19.2 points and 10.3 rebounds. The Heat had problems controlling the boards for much of the season. They allowed the 12th most rebounds per game in the league. These teams played each other 3 times this season. Vucevic played in 2 of those 3 games. The first game, 12 points, 11 rebounds. The second game, which was just last week, 20 points and 11 rebounds. This is an important game. Vucevic should play a lot, so I think he comes away with a double-double. And then we're going to go from a veteran to a rookie. Matas Buzelis over 11.5 points at -122. The Bulls inserted him into their starting lineup at the beginning of February. 31 games in that role. He averaged 13 points. Now, he played a lot down the stretch. He averaged 29 minutes over his final 12 games. That helped him score at least 12 points in 8 of those 12 games. Faced the Heat 3 times this season, had at least 13 points in all 3 of those games. And this is big that this game is at home. He shot 43.5% on the road this season, but 47.2% at home. This kid has no fear. I'm not worried about him in a quote-unquote playoff situation. I like him to go over 11.5 points.
All right, we got him over 11.5 points. And then we got Vucevic to record a double-double at -115. Buckets.
Got a question for you, Mike. In the chat, Volleyball Buckets asks, what do you think about Kevin Huerter first field goal score at +1,000?
I mean, you can try anything you want at +1,000. What was Kevin from The Office say? Is anything? If they give you 100 to 1 odds, you take it every time.
Take it no matter what. Yep.
Yeah, you take it no matter what. I'd never bet first basket scorers, so I'll just leave it at that.
Buckets, who wins, the Heat or the Bulls tonight?
Bulls.
Yeah, Buckets.
Yes, okay. I had a 50-50 shot of giving that right.
Buckets, were there any soccer questions that you needed to address in the chat? And then AMags, I'm going to go to you for maybe a baseball question or 2 that you saw.
A lot of people are talking. Wait, Buckets Madrid to score in the first half. I found at -140 and over 1.5 in the first half of them is +370. Feel like both of those are worth a poke. No, I really like Real Madrid today, and I haven't liked them for a long time. I know that the guru's not here, so let's be talk badly about Arsenal without getting in trouble. But when you were up 3-0 against the champions of all of Champions League, you park the bus. Arsenal is going to play back. They're going to play defensive, and they're going to try to grind this out. And I just don't think you can do that against Rodrigo, against Vinicius Jr., against Kylian Mbappe. I really think Real Madrid get at least 2 goals here, so I love that first half poke.
All right, first half poke from Giuseppe Maricino. What a cool sounding name. AMags, any baseball? Listen, there's a lot of baseball questions in here. Some of them we will get to while we're doing the live betting stream at 1, but anything that popped out to you, AMags?
Yeah, I would say that, like, you're right. There are a lot of questions here. Bring these to that show.
Yeah.
But I did want to at least give Buckets a quick shout out. He mentioned before the show that his sister would be going to the Reds game today.
Oh, yes.
So she is more of a baseball fan than he is, apparently. And so he asked for a lean on the Reds game. I was just looking here. I truthfully don't love much, but the under 9 does look like it's at 9. It's pretty valuable. Whereas, the 8.5, then I'd stay away from the under. So hopefully your sister sees a terrible game with no runs and nobody.
I ask you for a lean and you bring me an under, AMags. When did you start hating me? Did I miss something?
You know what, Buckets? Take the over 10. There you go. The over 10.
Hey, there we go.
Hey, Buckets, I do want to pile on here, and I'm doing this to you specifically. I kind of put you in a corner, but your team is favored. Any interest in a showdown? I've got the Heat, you've got the Bulls.
Mike, does that sound? Should I do it?
Let's do it. Put me in it with Buckets.
Come on.
Yeah.
Let's do it. 2v1. Let's go Bulls, baby.
It's gonna be a showdown.
Was AMags about to jump in too?
I was gonna at that point throw me in throw everyone in against the
3v1. Play it again, Ben. Play it again.
Play it again.
It's gonna be a showdown.
What have I done? What have I
Bulls
done?
Fans unite. We are all over. I know there's some in the chat. Stephen Cook, Bulls fan. Let's all pile on Sia. Oh, Eric Spoelstra is the best coach in the NBA. Billy Donovan's going into the Hall of Fame.
Billy Donovan. Come on, guys.
Yeah, Buckets.
Billy Donovan.
Man.
Donovan,
You gotta
man.
see
Loud
Red is Spo is the best coach of the NBA. I'm not backing down from that. Heat win in a close game by 3 points. KC3 says I missed showdowns. Well, maybe we'll have to bring some of those back. But we do have to get out of here. I do have to get to massive exposure. See, yeah, that's true. Let's get to the recap screen because I got this 10:30 show with maybe Mike McClure, definitely Rick Gaiman, RBC Heritage. Again, getting inside the mind of these guys during these live shows, very important. Round 1 matchup tomorrow morning for the RBC Heritage. Bud Cauley -125 over Nick Taylor. Again, go back to the early wedge for all the bets. But I will say I'm going to tweet out first round leaders for the RBC Heritage, which you already got on the early wedge. But in that tweet, I'm also going to tweet out first round leaders for the Corrales Punta Cana Championship. So keep an eye out on that for maybe later this afternoon, early evening. Buckets has got Real Madrid versus Arsenal. Kylian Mbappe, anytime goal scorer at +110, and Inter versus Bayern Munich. Harry Kane, 2+ shots on target at +110. Chris Bubich over 5.5 Ks at -128 from AMags. And he's also got James Wood, not the actor, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, -125. Vucevic to record a double-double, -115. That is courtesy of Mikey B. And he's also got Buzelis over 11.5 points at -122. SportsLine Picks. Red Sox Rays over 9, -105 from JLC. NBA, we go to the maestro, Daniel Gafford, over 4.5 rebounds at -135. And do not forget about red hot first quarter Ben. He's got the Heat first quarter. Okay, Ben, I see what you're doing here. You're on my side, at least for 12 minutes. He's got the Heat first quarter +0.5 at -112. CLE fan says Ben is the MVP today. Yes, today and every day. Thank you for saying that. Few more MVPs, or at least on the podium. Buckets, Mikey B, AMags. I don't know, maybe me as well. Thanks for being in here, everybody. We'll maybe see you at 10:30 in 4 minutes, and we hopefully we'll see you at 1 o'clock during the live show with that cast, which is so extremely talented, particularly in the MLB. We got to get out of here. See you in 4 minutes. See you at 1. It's going to be a great day. Let's stay positive, and let's get a good recap screen tomorrow. I'm the Counselor of Cash. We rest our case.